Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Sunbury Motors, North 4th Street in Sunbury, and Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now, from the Sunbury Motors studio, here's Steve Jones.
Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15, Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, best in new inventory. Great pre-owned inventory with the Sunbury Motors guarantee and a fabulous service department to back it all up. It's all at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15, Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Time now for our play-by-play call of the day. The Padres, for the most part this year, have not really been competitive against the Dodgers, but when they needed to last night, former Dodgers stepped up and made a big play.
1-1 to Jake. Here's the pitch, and that's a towering drive deep down the right field line. This one's way back. It's gonna go! A long home run to right field for Jake Cronenworth. And the Padres add on. It is 5-3, San Diego in the 8th.
That ball almost got into the second deck. A big boy shot for Jake Cronenworth.
Like Jake Cronenworth, the last at-bat that was announced by Vin Scully was Jake Cronenworth when he was with the Dodgers, and he homered. How about that? But now he's a Padre. And that series is tied at a game apiece in a best-of-5 going to Petco for games 3 and 4. All right, let's go out to our good friend Gerry Dulac. My friend, welcome. Great to have you with us on this day.
Well, Steve, do cities have playoff baseball? Is that such a thing?
It is something that as October progresses, there's a limited group of teams, Gerry, that are allowed to play.
Well, and I appreciate you telling me because, the baseball season here, I thought it all just ended in September, but I guess I'm wrong.
62 years ago today, Bill Mazeroski hit the homer in the bottom of the 9th inning to win the World Series.
Yeah. How about that?
That's a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe only second to the Immaculate Reception, the greatest sports moment in Pittsburgh history. And it might be number one because it was the World Series and it was Game 7 and it was a walk-off. So, you probably should rank it number one. I don't know if it's been surpassed by the Immaculate Reception because that's considered the greatest play in NFL history. But either way, those are the two iconic moments. And, how about that? 62 years to the day.
And we are coming up on the 50th anniversary of that play that you talk about.
Yeah, fact, the Heinz History Center today had a little ceremony, kind of a, if you will, quasi-reenactment of the Immaculate Reception with Franco posing him and with the exact same ball from that game, posing him making that catch with that ball, somewhat ironically, today.
Wow. I had a little fun out at Chartiers back in August. Jack and I were out there speaking to the Duquesne Club, and Franco was there.
Yeah.
And Franco's putting together something on the 50th anniversary of it. So Dana Harris was the one that was videoing it. And it was fun me just sit off to the side for 20, 25 minutes and listen to Franco and Jack go back and forth about the day and the play. So that was a lot of fun. So I enjoyed it.
That Short-Tears connection had nothing to do with Ronnie Mulder, did it?
Oh, well, are you kidding me? Oh, no. There are certain absolutes in life, Gerry. You and I know that. I mean, over there, even when he's not the president, he's still the king.
He is the man at Short-Tears. You got that right.
No doubt. All right. For the Steelers, obviously, we all know what's going on. So what did you think about just the pure move of saying Kenny Pickett going forward? What did you think about that?
Well, Steve, it surprised me that it happened when it happened. And you don't see NFL coaches put a rookie quarterback in a game that was never played at halftime in a non-injury situation. You usually weather the storm, bite the bullet, wait till the end of the game, and then start a new week with a full week of practice with your rookie quarterback. And he didn't do that, and I will tell you he didn't intend to do that. He didn't expect to do that. Something went on in that locker room at halftime that caused him to change his mind. After talking to a number of people, I'm not buying that we needed a spark to comment to or reasoning to make that change, even though they did, and even though Kenny Pickett provided it. He flipped the scoreboard from 10-6 to 20-10. But that was also my point, is that it's a 10-6 game. And they are a big toe away from Deontay Johnson catching the ball in the back of the end zone from Trubisky of it being 10-10 at halftime. There was no need to panic at that point. So, yeah, it sounds nice that they needed a spark, which they did, but they knew what they were dealing with, and they knew what their plan was, and it did not involve making that change then. But it happened, and you know, Kenny Pickett showed well, yeah, but he did throw 3 interceptions, and he did throw the one that killed him, you know, a pass that you just can't make. Coincidentally to, our fellow Penn Stater, Pat Freiermuth. And, and then he looked good the other day. I mean, he looked like he was in command of the offense. He's very good at the kind of the RPO, one read, quick throw. He's very accurate. He releases the ball quickly. They went up and down the field. Steve, they only had 3 3-and-outs now, like for Kansas City. That's cause for an investigation. But for the Steelers, only 3 3-and-outs in the game, and that offense, that's not too bad. But yet the bottom line is only 3 points. Now, and they missed 2 field goals, but they shouldn't have even attempted it. It went 24-3 and 31-3. What's that doing for you? Kicking field goals against that team who's going up and down the field on you. What's a field goal? You needed to go for it on 4th down, and both decisions, in my estimation, were poor. And but again, I thought he looked well, he played well, but the offense continues to not produce points.
And it's more than that. I always feel like a rookie quarterback, even though they can be terrific, they need help around him.
Absolutely.
And Gerry, on both sides of the ball, it doesn't look like he's got enough help around him. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say that's more than fair. So now the question is, Mike Tomlin says after the game, well, no stone will be unturned. We have to consider changes, not for the sake of change, but to make ourselves better. He backed off that comment a little bit on Tuesday, saying that we're not going to make a change just to make a change for the sake of change. But the reality is, Steve, who they going to change to? And you saw in that Buffalo game, they were already without 3 defensive starters. They lost 4 more during the game, and then, of course, they lost Pat Freiermuth with concussion. But so they're now without 8 players, 7 on defense, and guys who had to step in, who you might consider making changes to. What did they do in that game? Very little. Point being, It's not like you have great options. And so that's just where they are. They're a team that can't afford injuries. And even if they do, I don't know how good they are. Do I think they're a 1-4 team? No, I do not. But, this isn't like Ben Roethlisberger's your quarterback, or, Hines Ward is your receiver, or Marquise Pouncey is your center, or you have Troy Polamalu back there, and you think, okay, 1-4, they've had some injuries. They're a little stale, they're a little stagnant right now, but you see what they have, and you think, they can turn this around. To quote my old friend Dick LeBeau, he used to always say, I've seen sicker dogs than this get well in a hurry. Well, I'm not so sure that there's enough bite in this dog to get well enough. But we shall see. And I think the other thing, too, Steve, for all the people who just don't get it and understand, that you cannot quantify how much they miss Ben Roethlisberger in those situations. And it was said to me by 2 people coming out of that locker room, figuratively, after the game, Sunday and Monday, saying to me that they don't, they missed 7 because he could help cover up for their deficiencies. and the games they won last year, 7 of the 9 victories, he brought them back in the fourth quarter because that's when he said, you know what, this game plan ain't working. I'm going to do what I need to do.
Right.
Now,
exactly.
they just don't have – they're not in a position to do that, and they don't have the type of people right now who can do that. I mean, you're talking about a future Hall of Famer. So I don't think people fully understand, the impact that he did and can have, and they just don't have it. And no, is that the only reason? No, but believe me, it's a big part of it.
Well, and they not only don't have 7, they also don't have Watt. So between the two of them, they don't have anybody that can turn it around. And right now, to me, Gerry, they're a 4th-place team playing a 2nd-place schedule. Yeah,
well, and Steve, that's a good way of putting it. And you look at this stretch right now, and that goes back to the Kenny Pickett question. Why would you put him in where his first game is Buffalo, and then it's going to be Tampa Bay, and then you're going on the road to Miami and Philadelphia? At the time he made that decision, those 4 teams were a combined 10-2. It's not exactly the cupcake portion of the schedule, and it was just, and that's why I say I think that decision was made hastily, emotionally, a knee-jerk reaction, which is uncommon for Mike Tomlin. But once you make that decision, Steve, there's no turning back. You can't then say, well, we're going to go back then to Mitch Trubisky because that wouldn't sit well with the fan base, first of all. Not that he wants to listens to that because he says he doesn't, and I believe him. But nonetheless, you have to be aware of that, though, too, and not just the fan base, how it might sit with maybe some other people, internally. Right. So he's in a tough spot, but he created that spot.
Right. See, that's what surprised me because I thought if they were going to do it, it would have been November 13th with the Saints game after the bye week.
Right.
After the bye week. I mean,
that's right. See where you are, see how you're performing, and then you've gotten time to get him ready. And, then you say, well, we don't have much choice here. We need to do something. And you make the change. And But this is where they are right now. And, their problems aren't Kenny Pickett. But at this point in time, it's not like he's going to save them because it's a very difficult position for him to be in. No question.
Have you been surprised at all by the lack of production from Harris at running back?
Yes, and just from what his pedigree is. And when I say no, it's only because I see, and I've seen it from the beginning, I see a guy who's reticent when he's going into the hole, when he sees the correct hole, who pauses, who takes away the advantage he has, Steve, which is his size, speed, and strength. Yep. So instead of seeing the hole and just hitting it like someone stole his lunch money, he went by pausing, hesitating. He's given the defense and defenders a chance to converge on him quicker. And also, I think what's happening is Najee was just trying to hit the home run too many times instead of taking that 4, 5, and 6-yard gain. And after those 4, 5, and 6-yard gain, boom, then you hit the 20-yarder. Then you go 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, boom, another one, 15, 18 yards. And it looked like he was just trying to make too much happen from the get-go, missing holes and just not hitting them when they were there, the way he needs to hit them. And you're going to see Jaylen Warren, number 30, play more this week for that reason. He's averaging 4.9 yards a pop because he sees that hole and he just hits it. Now, Najee's only been around 2 years. It's not like he's a 5-year veteran whose body has taken a toll and you get to the point and you go, you know what, I'm just getting tired of getting pounded like that.
Right.
And I also understand, too, Steve, that, opposing defensive coordinators aren't sitting there worrying about Jaylen Warren when he gets in the game. They're not game planning for him, but they're game planning for Najee Harris. So I understand him touching the ball gets the defense's attention a little bit different than when Jaylen Warren, an undrafted rookie, gets the ball. Nonetheless, he's been productive when he's been in there, and you're going to see him more on Sunday.
You do bring up, last question I'm going to bring up because I don't want to eat up too much of your time, but we've seen a lot of coaches use analytics to go forward on 4th down, 2-point conversions. And over a period of time, you and I both know, you brought up Dick LeBeau, if Dick LeBeau's running the defense, what's he doing during the course of the week? He's dialing up every fourth down play the opposition has, and they're practicing them during the course of the week. Same thing with 2-point conversions, right? I think we're seeing all these defensive coordinators now. They're doing a lot of work on fourth down plays of the opposition and 2-point plays, and I think we've seen a swing the other way, and they're not converting them anymore.
Yeah, Dick LeBeau not only wouldn't give a hoot about analytics, he never even used a call sheet. It was all in his head, and that's what he just knew everything inside and out, and that's what made him just not only successful but just a beauty to be around. And yeah, and John Harbaugh, of course, lives by those analytics, and even he last week, after failing the week before, going on costing it when he went on fourth down and got stopped down by the goal line. This time he kicked the field goal. So, I've talked to Bill Cowher about this a couple times, and it's like these coaches get too caught up in the analytics, and good coaches have a feel for the game, the flow of the game, the temperature of the game, and their players, and when to do this and when to do that, and what's being told to you with the analytics doesn't take that into account. And yet, so many coaches, they don't pay attention. They don't care about that. They're married to the analytics, and they go by them. And I just think they have to be more flexible. But then, you know what, Steve? It's because we've been around the game a long time, and we've seen the coaches who were successful and made it work. And all of a sudden now everybody's trying to reinvent the wheel and tell you what you need to do to be successful. And we've seen it work the other way, so much a large majority of the time.
Beautifully put, because, again, I've always been the most successful people are always the ones that have a feel for their profession, not just the game, but their profession. And I'm sensing that we're seeing more coaches in the NFL that are play callers and not like head coaches.
I agree with you. And I think that's because lately it's become, they're looking at the numbers, they're looking at the odds, the percentages, the analytics, and they study that. And I'll give you a small example. Somewhat to that, but a little bit different in terms of getting the feel for the game. I was talking to Charlie Batch, the former backup quarterback. He was in that same quarterback room with Byron Leftwich, who's now the Tampa Bay offensive coordinator, who'll be here Sunday, along with Ben. And he was talking about, he says, one of the things that was so good about Byron Leftwich, he said he was a visual guy. He got the play from the sideline, and he wanted to see, he could see it, and he communicated it to the players. He didn't look at a wrist card, looking at the plays where these young quarterbacks go in the huddle, and they're not looking at their teammates. They're looking at that wrist card. So there's no eye-to-eye communication. There's no, hey, look, I'm coming to you, man, get ready. There's none of that. These guys look at this wrist card with the play call, and they take the feel of the play out of the game and actually out of the huddle. And so there's less personal interaction and more, and it's a communication, but it's different. They might as well just hand out a little sheet of paper to everybody, and this is what it's going to be. And so I think it's the same type of thing. It's that feel you get in the huddle. It's that feel you get on the sideline. And risk cards and these analytics and everything, just it takes away from that a great deal.
Boy, that part, I never thought about that part. Wow.
I didn't either until Charlie told me. He said that was one of the things about Byron Leftwich. He said that was really good about him was his communication, was his eye-to-eye with the players in the huddle. And he tries, obviously, he tries to coach the same way. But I was with you, Steve. I never thought about it until Charlie was telling me that.
Wow, that is something. Hey,
ask Hammer about it and see what he thinks.
Oh, no, that's something, believe me. We've got dinner coming up tomorrow, and if I'm going to see him in about an hour, I just may bring it up when I see him in about an hour.
Well, so, I want to tell you real quickly. So I go up to Freiermuth in the locker room yesterday, and I said, "What do you think this weekend?" And of course, he's in concussion protocol. He says, I don't know. I go, no, I don't mean about you playing. I mean about the game at Michigan. He goes, "Oh, we'll beat them." We'll beat them. I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, yeah." I says, "I hope you're right."
We're going to find out starting at noon. Love his attitude. Wouldn't mind having him here.
Oh, yeah. Hey, he's a big fan. He's a big fan of Strange. He thinks he's a big-time player, big-time tight end.
You want to know why? You know what's strange? Greg McElroy asked me about this morning, and he said, what's been the biggest difference in the offense? I said, it's Strange.
Yeah,
it's
no
not
kidding.
Strange's ability to catch it. its strange ability to become a better blocker for that running game.
Yeah, no kidding. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, those young players are very impressive, and that quarterback can spin it, and that number 11 could be a stud. And,
no doubt.
Those two young running backs are pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, my friend, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Great stuff as always.
Always a good chat with you, Steve, as you know, anytime, man.
Thank you, Gerry. Gerry Dulac, Steelers Radio Network, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. We will come back with more in a moment here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now, from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 Hummels Wharf. Online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, the best in new inventory. All with great warranties. Great pre-owned inventory with the Sunbury Motors guarantee, so important. And also a great service department that backs it all up. It's at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 Hummels Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Time now to bring in the king. I swear he's there. Matt, does he know he's there?
King.
Hey, boys.
There you go.
How's life?
All right.
Good.
What about you?
Well, it's kind of tough around here right now, but, we're safe. But, the road I'm on here, Little Schweier Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at the end of it, there was a 3-car crash.
No.
Yeah, a guy died. And then a half mile down the road, where the gas station is, on Rye Street, the corner of Rye Street.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Motorcycle hit a tractor trailer there last week. He died. And then we got ESPN down there today. You heard about the 3 cops?
No.
Oh, they got ambushed.
In Bristol, right?
Oh, yeah.
I saw that this morning.
Yeah,
yes.
about a quarter mile from ESPN. They were called to a domestic dispute, and the guy come out the door and just shot the 3 cops. Killed 2 of them. Yeah. Awful. Just absolutely awful. So you count your blessings, Things change in a second. So, bizarre here. I come out and they're doing CPR. I heard the crash, but there's a lot of industrial buildings around here with big bangs and booms all the time,
Right.
I come out and everybody's in the parking lot and they're doing CPR on the guy. I'm like, oh my God. And he had a medical emergency. So he was weaving down the road and he hit the car's head on. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But, okay. On to happier things.
Yes.
I have wonderful news. Absolutely wonderful news. The best news, I won the football pool this past week. $145, boys.
There you go. Well done.
Number 1 out of 29. And I'm counting on Kansas City, right? And I tell my wife, I said, I need Kansas City to win. Kansas City wins, we win. I'm laying there. It's 17-0. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. The Raiders are beating the crap out of them. I said, oh, my God, I'm like kryptonite, So I shut it off, and I went and watched Golden Girls. So I kept looking at my phone. I said, oh, it's 17-7. It's 17-10, And then I fell asleep, and I woke up, and I covered the phone. I see 29 Raiders. I go, and I slide my finger over. 30. I won. So.
Bingo! Let's score a touchdown and go for 2. What?
Some of the decisions this year are just bizarre,
But see, I asked the question on the show on Monday. Which games are being won because of analytics?
Yes. They were talking about that, yeah.
I mean, which games are being won? I didn't say which games are being lost. Which ones are being won?
Yep.
I'm struggling to find them right now.
No, senor! No, senor! No, senor!
No, they were talking about that on ESPN, one of their, circle chats. They were saying, these coaches are making bizarre decisions. I mean, on the road, you play for the tie. Patrick Mahomes, what's the difference? If he's up by one or the game's tied, at least it's tied, It's bizarre. You're going to hold them back. You haven't held them back the whole half. So.
Well, I mean, which team has the better kicker? Because Kansas City's on its third kicker, and then I was talking to Stefan Wisniewski yesterday in practice. Of course, Steph was the starter on the Chiefs Super Bowl team that won. And, and he says, he says they might be on their fourth kicker coming up. And meanwhile, Carlson hasn't missed a kick in 2 years. Yeah. So tie the game up and let's get the ball back, and this guy will win it for us. Don't do stuff like it. They do stuff where I'm not sure why they do it. There's no common sense. It's time, score, and number of possessions remaining. You've got to be able to have that combination in your mind as to how you make decisions. And because they're play callers and not head coaches, they don't know how to make the decisions, so they use a card.
You're right. I don't. It's bizarre, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
It got me $145, so.
Yeah, true.
Got my check today, so.
Perfect.
Yeah, well, it's all because of you guys. We, as a team, we want $145, but until I get my pickle, you get nothing.
For Brewers Outlet. Beautiful.
So,
all right.
anyway,
Mariners, by the way, just took the lead over the Astros 2-1, top of the fourth inning. So the Mariners are up 2-1 in the top of the fourth.
You, sir, are my hero!
Again, a reminder, it's a 9-inning game. We'll come back with more in a moment here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
When car repairs get difficult.
Well, I just don't know.
Me neither.
We get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Open 7 till 4, Monday through Friday. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. Will Sunbury Motors factory trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, Saturday, 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.
All right, time to make picks with no money on the line here, just suggestions.
And no points either, but we got that going for you. So, yeah, King, 6-4, the big winner last week. Steve was 5-5. I won 4-6. That brings our totals to Steve and I deadlocked at a tie again, 38-28. King is catching up, 32-34. As we head into this week's picks, switching up, doing some NFL first. Getting it started with Green Bay off the loss in London last week. Now taking on the New York Jets. King, who you got?
I got the Jets. I like the way they're playing. I watched them last week, and they're well coached. And I think Green Bay's got issues, big issues. He doesn't really have that big gun to throw to anymore. So
I'll say it. I've said it once. I'll say it again. Green Bay is not that good. Jets.
Right.
Jets. 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 Steve.
Games at Lambeau, I'm going to go with Green Bay, even though I do agree with you guys that let's give credit where credit's due. I think the Wilson kids played really well for the Jets. I think the key to the game, I think, is going to be Aaron Jones. and not necessarily Rodgers. But I think at home, Green Bay will win. If the game were at the Meadowlands, I might pick the Jets, but I'll go Green Bay.
Well, we go from the Jets to the New York Football Giants as they, coming off the win in London, play host to Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Steve?
I'll go with the Giants. I just feel that the way Barkley is playing right now, he's starting to take over games in both the passing and the running game. I think I'm going to go with them. Plus, Harbaugh will make some fourth down call someplace that'll backfire, and that ought to do it.
I agree 100%. Barkley is starting to take over games. He is everything to that offense, but if the minute he gets hurt, the Giants' season's going to go south. But their defense is also very much improved, like the front seven. I like the G-Men at home again, unfortunately. King?
Yeah, I like the Giants. I mean, this guy's a good football coach. The only edge I give, and it's a huge edge, is the kicking for Baltimore.
He's great.
Yeah, he is really good, man. He does, like Belichick said, he's 60 yards out. You know, you've got to. They don't have to go far after a kickoff for him to get.
Although Graham Gano's got a leg too, but you're right. I would still could put my money on Justin Kicker anytime. But Gano's hit some big kicks.
Solid. I pick these games because you can see a little changing of the guard here. You know, every year you automatically pick Green Bay. You automatically pick the Ravens. Well, it's not automatic anymore.
No,
these other teams are starting to get good, and you know it's more fun now. So
that's how the league is supposed to work. That you get a first place schedule, you draft lower, the other team drafts higher, has a better schedule. I mean, that's how the league is supposed to work. That's why what the Packers, Patriots, and Steelers have done for 20 years has defied that. But now you're seeing it come to, even for them, they're struggling with it.
Well, speaking of those Patriots, they're in Cleveland this week. King, who you got?
I'm taking New England, and I'm telling you the sleeper draft pick of this whole past draft is that guard that the Patriots took first round. That guy is good. So the Patriots are running at the guard or tackle. I forgot which position he played, and I forgot his name. But he is good, and the Patriots can run the ball on anybody and control the clock and make their young quarterbacks not have to win the game. So I got New England.
I don't care who's at quarterback this week. New England wins big. I agree. And then, go ahead.
Well, I didn't know. I thought since my name was on the show, I got to pick.
Oh, I thought you had said you like New England. Sorry.
I didn't say a word.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said when you said I agree, I thought you meant you were going New England. I'm sorry. Your pick is?
I was going to say Zappy at quarterback. You know who his top receiver was last year, right?
No.
Penn State's Mitchell Tinsley.
Really? Wow.
Ah, okay.
God, do you guys follow the game at all? All right, so
not really, no.
I'm kidding. I'm gonna pick New England. Yeah.
All right. There we go. All right, now we've got the Kansas City Brett Veaches playing host to the Buffalo Bills once again. Steve.
Buffalo.
I also got the Bills in a very competitive game, I think. Bills' defensive line makes a big difference.
Game.
Yeah.
Great game, but I'm going to pick Buffalo. I feel like they're a little more fluid than Kansas City is right now.
Yes, also agree. King, who you got?
Yeah, I got Buffalo. I think they're just a more complete team. Kansas City's tough at home, but Kansas City was nowhere. If Kansas City does what they did with the Raiders in the first half, they will not win this game. So, and that was kind of scary. And the Raiders did whatever they wanted. They scored every time they had the ball in the first half. So, I got Buffalo.
And then finally, Sunday Night Football. Battle for first place in the NFC East. Eagles, Dallas. King, who you got?
I am taking Philadelphia because I think Parsons is hurt. But Parsons can win a football game for you at the linebacker position. But Philly is playing very complete football, and so is Dallas. This is going to be a tough game. I got Philly because it's in Philly.
Steve?
Cowboys in a rout. I think they're going to blow them out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm picking Philadelphia.
I'm like sitting there in shock. This guy hates Dallas, and he's been picking them all year.
I'm picking Philadelphia to win. But to be honest with you, the Eagles' defense, they've given up more points in the last 2 games than Dallas has given up in 3. If I'm you, I'm going to be a little wary of that moving forward. Just keep that in mind. And the Eagles have not cracked 30 points since the opener.
All true.
Who are you taking, Philly or Dallas?
No, I took Philadelphia.
Okay.
No, they're playing it all.
Yeah, they're playing it all. Right. All true. I just think the Eagles are the more complete team, and I think it's going to come down to 2 things. The battle of quarterback going to have to make a play late. Give me Jalen Hurts all day over Cooper Rush, though he's playing well. And I also think the Eagles' secondary is going to force mistakes from Cooper Rush, or they're going to make some sort of play on the ball to turn the game. That's my 2 keys. Eagles.
I'll tell you one of the keys of the game is going to be, to me, how does Philadelphia's defense contain Pollard?
Yes.
I think he is the game-breaking running back in both the passing and running games that nobody talks about.
Yeah, he does worry me. Absolutely.
But he doesn't block well. He doesn't protect the quarterback well.
That's why,
and that's been a problem.
That's why they situational. He's a situation guy.
They can't leave him out there every down because he cannot block at all. And the quarterback gets killed. So.
No, he's a matador.
Yeah. So, but Zico was a great blocker on pass plays. So.
Yep.
All right, college football now. We got a big weekend, too, with this. First, we start off with Bama hosting Tennessee. It actually might be a game. Steve.
It will be a game. It's going to be a really good game. Hooker's a better quarterback than a lot of people realize. And I'll tell you, Alabama went through a very physical game last week with Texas A&M. So I'm going to have some fun here. I'm going to take Tennessee.
Ooh, all right. I like it. King.
I got Tennessee. I think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
I love the quarterback. So.
I'm sticking with Bama. I guess I'm not going to be that bold as you guys, but I like the picks. I think it'll be a good game. Bama just finds the way to win these games. And
yeah, they do. They're well coached.
Until they lose it, I'm going to stick with them. I'm taking Bama. All right, next one. Big one in the Big 12. TCU hosting Oklahoma State. King.
Oklahoma State.
I got the Cowboys, too. These Cowboys I'm okay with. Actually, I think I like my multiple scores in this game. Steve.
TCU.
Ooh. Coming in hot to start our college picks.
Holy cow.
Really like the quarterback. You know, Duggan's thrown 14 touchdowns, only been picked once. Good player, and they're playing at home.
Yeah.
All right. Steve's coming in hot. I like it. Next one. Big one at the Carrier Dome. Cuse and NC State. Steve.
Big one at the... There's no such thing.
I know. I felt weird saying it.
It's whatever. I mean, come on. I'll tell you right now, I like the running back for Syracuse a lot, Tucker. I'm going to go with them.
I got NC State. I just think they're a better team. King?
I got Syracuse.
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot of shifting this week, one way or the other, with the way this has been going, but I like it. Next one, another one in the SEC. Will Levis and the UK hosting Mississippi State. King.
Mississippi State.
Yeah, I got Mississippi State as well. Steve?
Mississippi State's averaging almost 40 points a game. You know what Kentucky's averaging? 26.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a big margin.
I think Mississippi State wins.
All right. Now in the Pac-12, we got number 20 Utah, the Utes, hosting USC. Steve.
Didn't like how Utah looked against UCLA last week. I think it's a close game because it's in Salt Lake, but I'm going to pick USC to win.
King?
A week ago, I'd pick Utah. Not now.
Yeah, I got USC. That guy's a good football coach, man.
Yeah, I know Utah has been playing a lot better at home, but I can't really trust them either. So I'm gonna lean Trojans here in a close game. And then finally, for our picks portion. We'll get to Penn State in a sec just for King and I. Minnesota at number 24, the Fighting Illini. King.
I took Minnesota.
Yeah, I like the Gophers. That game worries me next week for Penn State. A little bit. Just a little bit. But, of course, we got Michigan first.
I can't believe they're not ranked.
Steve, who you got?
It's all going to depend on the health of Ibrahim because you got two top running backs head-to-head here, Ibrahim and Brown. I think Illinois' defense wins it. Illinois wins it.
All right, there you have it. Lock them in, but finally, Steve, quick final key for Michigan.
Got to get out of the gate each half. Michigan has scored in its opening drive 5 of 6 times this year. They've scored in the opening drive, second half 4 of 6. You get out of the gate, stop that. That means you play with the lead and they don't.
Penn State's a better team. I think Sean Clifford is a much better quarterback than J.J. McCarthy. This defense is going to force McCarthy into mistakes because he hasn't faced a defense like this. Knits get the win on the road. King.
McCarthy cannot stretch the field, which falls into Penn State's hands. My only concern with Penn State, and they've had 2 weeks to learn how to carry the football, because Michigan's going to put a helmet on the ball every time. And I just hope they watch some of the pro guys, watch Chubb, watch Elliott. These guys got 2 arms wrapped around the ball every time. I know they're young, but I hope they learn their lesson.